During the Middle Meccan period, this city was the site of a profound psychological standoff. The Prophet Muhammad had spent years calling his own tribe, the Quraysh, to a new spiritual reality, only to face an immovable wall of hostility and personal heartbreak. The Quraysh actively weaponized his message against him, mocking the very concept that the creator of the universe would communicate with a human being. Their defiance culminated in a specific, arrogant ultimatum. They demanded that if the prophet was actually telling the truth, he should command angels to appear right in front of them, treating the unseen mechanics of the cosmos like a cheap parlor trick. The divine response to that taunt arrived in the form of Surah Al-Hijr. This revelation delivered a devastatingly precise counterattack, designed to expose the fatal flaw in what the Quraysh were actually asking for. The surah exposes a specific blind spot in the Meccans' worldview. It tells the prophet to let them eat and enjoy themselves for now, because they are being diverted by a false hope, an obsession with immediate pleasures that masks the inescapable reality of what's coming. The surah frames their demand for physical proof of the divine as a catastrophic wish. By demanding an angelic visitation to validate their skepticism, they were inviting an intervention they would soon desperately regret. This diagram illustrates the core theological law Surah Al-Hijr establishes. God does not dispatch angels for entertainment. When the veil of the unseen is lifted and angels do descend, they arrive with an absolute truth manifesting in one of two ways: miraculous mercy or total annihilation. To illustrate this, the surah pulls from history, recounting the moment a group of angels arrived at the home of the Prophet Ibrahim, appearing in human form. Even Abraham, a man deeply connected to the divine, initially reacted with profound fear. He understood that angels walking the earth meant the natural order was about to be severely disrupted. But the truth these angels brought to Abraham was one of overwhelming grace. They delivered the glad tidings that he and his wife would have a wise son, Isaac, despite the physical impossibility of their old age. For the righteous, the arrival of divine truth is a moment of unimaginable joy. It represents the fulfillment of God's promises, breaking the boundaries of what humans consider physically possible. The narrative then turns as Abraham, still processing the visitation, asks the messengers about their ultimate earthly errand. The angels reveal their true target. They are en route to the people of Lot, a society so thoroughly and notoriously corrupt that the Quran dismisses them simply as a guilty people. Their mission there is uncompromising. They are sent to execute the absolute destruction of that civilization. Only Lot's immediate household will be spared, with the specific, tragic exception of his own wife, who chose to remain behind. This story directly answers the Meccans. They casually demanded angels appear to prove the prophet's words, entirely ignoring what angelic intervention actually looks like when a society is steeped in guilt. The Quraysh's taunt was a suicidal request. They thought they were asking for a magic trick, failing to realize they were begging for the very mechanics of divine justice that erase entire civilizations from the map. We see the physical aftermath of this arrogance in the story of the people of Thamud. They inhabited Al-Hijr, the rocky tract that gives this surah its name. Thamud operated under a fatal psychological delusion. They believed that by carving massive fortresses directly into solid rock, they could insulate themselves from consequence and outlast divine law. While the physical walls of Thamud crumbled, Surah Al-Hijr describes a different kind of invulnerability for believers entering paradise, focusing not on their external surroundings, but on a profound inner purification. Verse 47 describes a highly specific, surgical miracle. God promises to extract gil from their breasts, pulling out the deep-seated malice, bitterness, and worldly grudges that inevitably plague human relationships. With that bitterness uprooted, the friction of their worldly lives simply evaporates. They enter the next life as brothers, sitting face to face on thrones, because a heart without a grudge is finally capable of absolute happiness. The massive fortresses of the rocky tract remain as a warning of what happens when power is built on delusion. But for the sincere, the truth isn't a threat. It's the force that clears away every worldly grievance, leaving only a heart at peace.